tally our final vote. As a time-honored tradition, in a moment, Senator Rivera, our distinguished colleague and former trainer and current supporter, will announce the final outcome on Model Senate 21. But because we know this project is really about the journey and not the destination, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge all of the people who made our educational component possible this year. I want to begin with my CUNY colleagues. First and foremost, probably outside getting something ready. Sort of, okay. Let me begin by acknowledging the Assistant Director of the Edward T. Rogowski Internship Program, who really drives this project each year, Ernesto Malave Jr. Ably assisted by the newest member of the Rogowski internship family, Ryan Siegel. Our 2017 Model New York State Senate Project faculty, Charlie Samboy, who you heard from this afternoon. Gallegos, who you heard from also. And our Executive Director of Operations on the floor this afternoon, Guillermo Rodriguez. I'd like to acknowledge all of the hardworking officers and faculty of the State University of New York for making the participation of their students possible and educational. Let's begin with Vice Chancellor Carlos Medina. The young man who coordinates the training for the entire State University of New York and its participants, Professor Fred Floss. From the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the State University, Edelmiro Reynoso. From SUNY System Administration, Rosanna Moquete. From the University at Albany, its Assistant Dean and Director for its Educational Opportunity Program, Professor Maritza Martinez. From Stony Brook University, its Educational Opportunity Program, Francisco Colon. From the State University of New York at Oneonta, its Affirmative Action Officer, Andrew Stammel. From SUNY Cortland, the Interim Director of Multicultural Life and Diversity, Anna Marie Siraccioni. From Morrisville State College, an Assistant Professor of Spanish, Professor Sylvia Bliss. From Buffalo State College, Student Activities Assistant for Evening and Weekend Life, Sean Terry. From Stony Brook University, Joel Polanco. From Buffalo State College, Daphne Napoleon. From the University at Albany, Moises Ureña. And from SUNY Oneonta, Yahira Payo Colon. Please give it up for everybody who makes this part of the Model Senate possible. We come here. Where students showcase their talent under the gold-tinted ceilings in this chamber, but we all know that the power of this program resides in the work that all students and faculty do in preparation for this magical day in Albany. And without further ado, I give you Senator Gustavo Rivera, who will provide us with the result of this year's Model Senate proceedings.
That's fine. You don't have to clap. Wait, you really don't. You don't. No. I'd actually want to take a second also to recognize not only someone who has a magnificent haircut and a magnificent beard, but is also taking out of his Saturday to come and help us out, and that's Matt right there. Again, he doesn't have to do this, but I'm glad that he does, because he gets to actually come in here and you should ask him about some of the debates that we have in here sometimes. He can share some of those stories with you. It is, first of all, the official part of it first. The official tally for this year's Model Senate legislation is 22 against, 37 in favor. Longer to tally than usual because we wanted to make sure that Charlie was doing okay. you're good? All right, the tacky card has gone away. He's good, he's doing all right. It is one of the highlights of my year to actually do this program. It really has. This is the 17th year that I'm a part of. As I remind everyone, and I'll say it once again, the first time that I walked into this chamber was as a faculty member of this program. And now, not only do I have a chair that has my name on it out there, but also there is a beautiful lady with a hijab sitting at my chair. It is a highlight of my year, particularly because you will be not surprised to know that this is far more diverse than the actual population of the New York State Senate. I have many colleagues who I have a lot of respect for, and many folks who come in here just like I do. As you've learned, they come from all over the state, and they definitely have different ideologies, but they all come fighting for their constituents. So I certainly have a lot of respect for them, but I've always thought that this chamber needs to look a little bit more like New York. And so this year, as I do every year, standing up here, it is a great experience to be able to look down and see these folks that make up the Model State Senate. And as I said before at the luncheon, I want you all to take this opportunity, not only because this is a beautiful historic room, As I told some folks over here, the first desk that I sat at was the second desk right there. As you are doing right now as your students, do not go rifling the desk because they have stuff from other senators in there, so I never touched it. But when I became a senator, I sat at that desk and I opened it up. And there's signatures there that I can show you afterwards, from senators going all the way back to the 19th century. There's somebody that wrote there in pen and pencil in 1896 when he served his first term in the Senate. FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, served as a state senator in this chamber as well. And now you are here. For some of you, probably most of you, the first time that you've ever come into this chamber. I want you to consider, as I've said to you in the past, this is the first step in what could be a career for you in policymaking. It might be sitting at the chairs that you're sitting in now. Or if you look behind you, for example, that lady right there, Angelica, raise your hand now. Not only was she a part of the Rogowski internship program, but she is now the legislative director for State Senator Jamal Bailey. She usually sits right behind him, right over there. And she is just as important in this process of policymaking as Jamal is. And he recognizes it, as do I. The gentleman in the corner right here, Eric Villalobos. Stay right there, yeah. He is an intern in my office, but he's a part of my team nonetheless. Think about this as the first step in what you could be a career in policymaking. Lastly, the reason why I would want you to do that is because as it becomes very, very clear, the more you go into this world, there are fewer and fewer people that have your voices that are speaking in chambers like this. And I want to make sure that that changes. So consider this the first step in doing that. I'm proud of all of you, particularly the Republicans that took the steps that maybe Charlie didn't like, but many of us did. Imagining that maybe one of my colleagues who was sitting in those actual chairs, might actually do that at one point. I know I'd stand up and clap, but I usually don't. But bottom line is, thank you for being part of this program. Make sure that you continue to be a part of the program. Many of you might be trainers in the future. We might have other colleagues in your institutions that might want to be part of it. Come back to Albany, though, not just for this, but come back to remind us, as I usually tell folks as well, come back to remind us of why we do this in the first place and why the decisions that we make up here, the impact that they have in our communities is real. And you can remind us of that by coming up. So thank you for being part of this program. God bless America, and God bless you.
Legislator and a better friend, Senator Gustavo Rivera.